Hey guys, welcome to Snowbreak Containment Zone. Since we do have our complete upgrades for Nita, we can now showcase her and more or less decide where she's gonna be landing in the tier list. Plus, there are a lot of changes in the tier list, and stay tuned for that. So we're starting off with our May 2025 tier list at tier 5. We have still Haru the ace here and Nita hands. Nothing more in terms of change for tier 5. We go to our tier 4. As usual, we don't have much of a change. It's still the 6 of them: Frisha Hush, Marian Queen of Pain, Life Wednesday, Cherno, these two, Moxer Meow, and Enya Big Sis. But for our tier 3, we do have a small change in which there's a drop of Yao Quiet Quitter. I don't see much of a value for Yao at this point among our healers, especially that now that I have tested out that Nita is actually Nita doesn't really need a healer once you get her, her second level for her Octus Drive, and Yao doesn't quite perform as expected for the type of play that we have now versus the type of play that we had before. So Yao is definitely one of our slowest healers. Again, she was actually the best before, but now I don't think she's gonna cut it out in terms of competing with the two other healers in this list. So she is with Marian Swift, Fenny Lionheart, Akasha Redacted, and Series the Goldfish. Then for our tier 2, I hope you're not surprised. Nita Pulse is actually here. So let's talk more. She's highlighted green because she's actually new to the tier list. Let's talk about more about her kit. Damage potential, especially when she is mob clearing, is really great. Again, for mobs, as long as they are within range and not that far or not on an elevated position wherein you need to use your shotgun just to kill, an enemy, she's gonna be good. Mobbing is gonna be good. Damage potential for mobbing is good. The part where she struggles most, which is really a pain, and dealing damage to multi-part enemies wherein you have to break certain parts before you could deal significant damage. You would need her shotgun for that. Also for single target, she seems to have a difficulty dealing dishing that much damage, and the targeting. Okay, one thing that I noticed, especially when you're in, you are doing your combos, it's hard to look at where you are or who you're hitting, especially if you're so engrossed with hitting your combos. That's actually one of the problems that I see with the new mechanic. Plus, targeting is difficult. Moving is definitely going to be difficult when you're doing your combos. Range is also a problem. So, if you're doing a close quarters mobbing stage, then go ahead. She's actually perfect for that stage. But what I'm saying right now, she is turning into a one-dimensional, operative, as expected, because she does close range. She's supposed to be a melee operative with again, she deals skill damage, but her skill damage is very short, but it's actually powerful. So that is why she's at tier 2. Her damage actually is comparable to what do you call this? It's comparable to, let's go to tier 1. It's comparable to Sears Kisana, but Sears Kisana is more controlled. Both of them I tried in terms of the damage potential. Obviously, Sears can do more single target damage. She does really struggle with multi-part as well. For mobbing, Nita is actually good, but in terms of the overall value of the character, Series is still, is still going to be up one tier versus Nita Pulse. Well, Nita Pulse is free, but again, in the end, both of them deal thermal damage, but I still had more fun playing with Sears Kisana than Nita Pulse. That's just me. Probably you guys are enjoying Nita Pulse more in terms of use, but for now, I don't think I don't think Nita will be surpassing Sears Kisana anytime soon. So going back to tier 2, we have Life Wild Hunt, Katya Blue Ball, Vidya Agave, Yao, Haru Absconditus, and Frisha Little Sunshine. So going up again to tier 1. So for tier 1, we have Chenxing, Fenny Coronet, Sears Kisana, no movement here, Frisha Turbo, Chenxing the Observer, and Ichil the Cub. They are they will be limited to a few characters that are very in need of a healer. Like for example, they're gonna be limited to Nita if you don't have well, everybody has her at M2 of course, but again, if you still want to bring a healer, you could still bring Ichil the Cub. And I think the other one that is gonna be needing it is going to be Enya, the new Enya. Okay, so we're gonna be going to her in a bit. So that is why the need for a healer, as the meta has switched in terms of the need for a healer, there are only a few characters or operatives that will be needing a healer. Thus, Ichil is actually going down. So Chenxing the Observer is here. So both of them are very good healers. Chenxing has the heals plus the buffs. So both of them very good. They could be in the same category actually in terms of depending it depends on your need really, if you need a buff and a heal or you only need a passive heal. So next up we have our tier 0.5. So for tier 0.5, the only movement here is Nerida. Nerida actually went down from tier 0. So we do have Life, Infinite Sight. Katya Dawnwing is here. Cherno Enigma, Bubu, Test the Magician, and Marian Riptide. So those are, let me just go. Okay. So Nerida, the reason why she is actually bumped down, it's because of the realization that she is actually decent she is actually decent with her alone as a damage dealer. She does need to be at M3 for her to be fantastic. And for her to go to the level of tier 0.5, she has to have Marian Riptide, which is this one. And some of you guys don't have Marian Riptide. So if only everybody had Marian Riptide, Nerida would be one of, Nerida pairing and Marian would be one of the great examples that the devs are trying to create a new type of mechanic in the game wherein a secondary DPS is going to be very useful. And Marian was actually built for that, and she is paired with Nerida. But if you stand alone with Nerida as is, especially if you don't have copies of her, she is above average. That's just it. She's not gonna be that what do you call this? That impressive in terms of the damage that she will deal. So she really needs Marian as a group DPS to have that bigger damage potential. And to our tier 0.5, again, we have Bubu, Tess, Magician, and onto our tier 0. For tier 0, we have Chenxing, Enya, Tempest, Fenny Starshine, Moxer Shadowka, Enya Exuvia, Yao Nightglow, and Akash Kaguya. Again, Chenxing and Jade Arc on their own, deal tons of damage, and they don't really need to be paired with, you know, to be excellent in the DPS part. They don't need to be paired with anybody. Nerida needs to be paired with Marian to be excellent in that part. So both of these girls, if you give them more buffs in terms of additional help from other operatives like Enya Exuvia or Marian Riptide, they would really shine. So that is why they're still here. And the other 5 supports are here because of the uniqueness that they bring, and there's no clear replacement for the 5 of them, especially for Akasha, Phoenix Starshine, Mauxir, Shadowka, Yao Nightglow, Enya Exuvia. Could have a replacement if you do have Marian Riptide, but again, she still excels more than Marian Riptide. Again, the only exception is she has this kind of weird mechanic wherein you have to stay in that circle for you to, you know, to avail of her buffs, and actually that's weird for some operatives, but again, she is going to be better than Marian Riptide in most cases. So that is it, guys. This is our tier list for May, and I'm actually looking forward to who will our next operative be for the month of May. We still have another release for a new operative probably next week. I'm not sure. I forgot when the next release is gonna be. I think it's gonna be next week, but not next week. There hasn't been a teaser yet, so definitely next week. So again, my final thoughts is gonna be, if the devs are going to go in the route of having a complementary, you know, operative to a skill rotation like what Nerida and Marian has, I'm actually all for it if they put in a new mechanic for this game. The problem is they're gonna be more reliant on that operative, but again, it's a nice mechanic to have. Hopefully we could have more of that. And hopefully the pairings are gonna be better in the future. So guys, thank you very much for staying this far. Again, comment down in the comment section what do you think. Take care, stay safe. This is the Warden, and I'm out of here.